Perfect.
All right, go live. All right, I think we're good. So right off the bat here, we haven't broke the deck out in a while. So
Nope, we have not.
I thought I'd go ahead and get that out. Give us an icebreaker for this episode. It's been a little bit since we did a live show, so I think we need a little bit of an icebreaker here.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I have a deck of interview questions, and I'm shuffling it up. I'll skip over if we get one that seems like it's what's your opinion on what's going on in the Middle East or something. Then I'll skip over that one. We'll find the easy questions.
What is this? Cards Against Humanity?
We might have done this one before, but it was an early episode.
Probably, maybe.
But I think it's a good question. I'm hesitating just going back through the deck again, but hey, fair and square. I shuffled it and I got it, so we're gonna do it again. What technology do you wish existed?
Oh yeah, we did do this one early on. I remember this.
I remember my answer was like the holodeck from Star Trek, so I won't answer that. I'll pick something else. And I really got to think about it because I think
mine was like flying card or something like that. I don't remember.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it was. It was. I remember this whole conversation now. So we have to come up with two different ones besides those two. Mine would probably still be something from Star Trek. They have so much good technology there. How do you not pick something from Star Trek?
How do you? Yeah.
So probably the replicator. So the holodeck would be great for entertainment. Yeah. The more practical thing is the replicator. I mean, something that can materialize like food or clothing or like literally materializes something from nothing. Like how do you get much better than that? The goods you could do for humanity, the debauchery you could get up to for selfishness. I mean, like there's, it's endless. It's endless.
Just totally endless. Yeah, that's crazy.
What do you think? What do you think your choice would be?
I don't know. See, when you started, I was like, oh man, I was thinking of like a lightsaber, but I'm like, man, the destruction that would cause. The whole total upset of the entire economy of wherever it was invented would be totally destroyed.
Speaking of lightsabers, and like when you're a kid, you use a flashlight as a lightsaber.
Oh yeah, yep.
So recently, my brother-in-law, I wanted to get a pocket everyday carry style flashlight, right?
Right.
And I asked my brother-in-law, "What's a good flashlight?" Simple question, right? He sends me like 30 links.
Oh my gosh.
I pull up a video on one of them. Let's see. Is my phone nearby? Let's say my phone's nearby. I'll look at. Oh, it is. Let me see what the model number of this flashlight is. I Google it thinking, oh, I'll look at it and see if this is a good fit for me, right? Yeah. Dude, there was like a 2-hour video reviewing this flashlight. Gosh. It has like a operating system on it that you operate with just one button with all these different combinations of press. It's like dangerous. It's like so bright that it's dangerous. It has like a noob mode. Like you press the button so many times, so that way, like if your father-in-law or somebody that doesn't understand like your like lightsaber flashlight, you could click the button like a certain way and it puts it in like easy mode, so you can pass it to somebody that's not gonna like just go. Ah!
That's amazing.
So I don't know, that flashlight company, whatever it was, it would take too long for me to pull up the text message, but like they're on their way. They're one step away from lightsabers.
You're one step away.
So you may be closer than you realize to getting a lightsaber.
Oh man.
All right. Well, hello and welcome to Crowbar Kernel Panic, the podcast at the intersection of Linux and gaming and lightsaber flashlights. This is episode 30, and this episode we're going to be talking about retro gaming. We're going to be talking about the latest graphic cards and which camp are you on? Are you NVIDIA? Are you Radeon? Are you Intel? We got a third contender in the ring these days.
That's oh man, I'm excited.
And then that conversation is going to spur off into how I'm going to max out my credit card on Black Friday. So stay tuned for that. We are live streaming over at Crowbar Kernel Panic on YouTube. Listen, if you're listening to the show right now, please like and subscribe to the channel. We have 111 subscribers. We're trying to get to 200. A whopping 200. We're trying to get to 200. It'll be huge for us if we get there. So, like, please subscribe to the channel. We're going to make a Discord. We got a lot of big plans for the big 2-0. 2-0-0.
And I always forget to mention this, but we do have a Matrix channel, which I will put in the description of this, or I'll send it to you to put in the description. So if anybody happens to be on that, they can at least join that for now.
You gotta show me how to do that. I think you showed me once, and then I lost my account or something.
No. You went on to my server that I had, and then I got rid of the server because it was just crazy to try to do a Matrix server by yourself because it takes so much RAM, and it's just a crazy disaster. So if you get onto matrix.org, which is their home server, whatever you want to call it, then you're good.
We're not hosting our own anymore. Now we're more on the mainstream.
Right. Yeah, because I just was like, I couldn't do it because it just costs too much to get the cloud computer the size I needed.
How long until Elon Musk buys matrix.org? You can send us an email at crowbarkernelpanic@pm.me. And then, of course, you can join us on Discord. Like I said, our 200 subscriber goal is to make our own Discord. Right now, we hang out in the Mintcast Discord. Not that we don't like those guys. We've been freeloading for a while, right? We need to get our own place. We've
definitely been freeloading.
Yeah, we've been sleeping on the Linux gaming couch over at the Mintcast Discord for far too long. It's time for us to change it up. We have gotten comments since the last episode, but unfortunately, I didn't.
I'm so bad about that.
Yeah, I didn't save any, but it's so spaced out, and they disappear if I respond to them. So. We'll get back on track next week, but and I did a stream. If you want to check out the Silent Hill, I did a Silent Hill stream where I played on the last podcast episode. I talked about the Silent Hill Enhanced Edition, which is a fan-made enhanced edition of Silent Hill. Which, by the way, we didn't put that in the show notes, but like they announced they are doing a Silent Hill 2 remake. So that was a prediction that I think you and I made either on the air or off the air, and it turns out that was accurate. Konami's coming out with a real.
Oh man, that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. I even committed. I said if they do that and it's PlayStation exclusive, I will buy a PlayStation 5 just for Silent Hill 2. If that's the only game I play, I'll buy a PlayStation 5. I love that game that much. Guess what? It's coming out for PlayStation 5 and PC, baby.
Woo. Yeah, PC Master Race.
Yeah, so I guess I'll get it on PC. I'll get it on PC and just buy a PlayStation 5 controller. That way it feels like I'm playing on a PlayStation 5.
That's amazing. I love that.
So check that video out and let us know if you want us to do more like gameplay videos like that. So let's get into GPUs, and more GPUs. So we had a few announcements in the last 2 weeks or so. Well, first off, AMD Radeon, they announced their 7 series is going to be launched. I have the date in front of me. Isn't it did it just launch, or is it the 13th of next month? I think it's the 13th of next month. I have it in the show notes. Hold on, let me find it real quick.
13th of December.
Yeah, okay. 13th of December. So,
yep.
These cards are going to be priced at $999, and there's a 20 gig card and a 24 gig card. And I think these are going to I think given the recent Nvidia news, I think this is going to blow Nvidia out of the water. Yeah. I'm actually worried they're going to be hard to get because everybody's going to be buying Radeon cards. The grab on Radeon cards are going to be crazy come next month.
I totally agree with you there.
That's my biggest fear. So I talked about how I was going to spend all my money on Black Friday, but I might need to save some. I might need to save my money and watch for this to come out because I it's going to be one of those cases maybe where you have to sit and wait for the launch to buy one of these things. I have been talking about since I have NVIDIA card. You have an NVIDIA card unless you changed it.
Nope, not yet.
I've never bought a Radeon card. Since I built my very first computer, it had a 8800 GT in it.
Wow.
Two 8800 GTs. That was back whenever you were SLI and everything. And I've been an NVIDIA fan ever since. But when I got into Linux gaming a few years ago, and it's only gotten like, in some ways it's gotten better, but in a lot of ways it's just gotten worse because the drivers of everything has become more bloated. So like the NVIDIA drivers, especially on Linux, are like really bloated. Phoronix has actually even done studies where they compare like, running the NVIDIA driver on Linux and how much resources that uses compared running the same card with a similar driver on Windows. So you're sacrificing more than you realize by using an NVIDIA card. And the Radeon driver support has always had a pretty good reputation in the Linux community.
Yep.
And so for years I've been talking about like, oh, my next card is going to be a Radeon card, but then I always chicken out. I go with what I know, and better the evil you know.
Yep.
You know.
I
didn't do that on purpose, but but I think this is it. I think this is finally the time. I think I'm finally gonna make the switch. Even I'm probably gonna get one of these 7 series because they're under $1,000. But even if I got a Radeon card of whatever the 6 series, even if I got something like below whatever's brand new, which is typically what I do with NVIDIA, I never buy the brand new NVIDIA. I get whatever came out before it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the sensible option.
But sub $1,000, and these days, like every NVIDIA card has been like $1,500 for like 2 years now.
It's like when the iPhone decided, oh yeah, the phone is going to be $1,500 now. Yeah. It's like Jeez. That now with GPUs. It's like crazy. And like we have a comment on YouTube here, and I forgot about the EVGA fiasco where they just totally are going to drop NVIDIA cards. And like I've been a diehard EVGA fan too. And like I don't know. They make great power supplies still, but now it's like I don't see a point in getting an NVIDIA card for me, especially with my Linux system, and with EVGA gone, it's like meh.
That's true. No, I have an EVGA. I had to look over to make sure, but I have EVGA in my system now. I think we talked about that last episode. Like when I worked at Best Buy, the one we'd get on a product like that, you don't really get much of an employee discount. I give it I can spill the beans on the Best Buy employee discount. It's been
long enough.
It's been my NDA is lifted. On a product like that, you don't really get a big discount. But we always sold EVGA, so I would usually buy an EVGA just because I could buy it right there in the store, or if I saw that it was on sale online, do a price match or something like that. So I mean, I'm several EVGAs in a row now, and then with this change and next story in the show notes, NVIDIA, apparently their cards have been lighting on fire.
Yeah, I know. This was like, I'm like, wait, what?
That's an exaggeration, but in testing, in test environments, there's been several testers now that have found, I think there's been like more than 10 reported cases of these cards. It's specifically the power adapter. So the new cards take like these like honking power adapters that like you have to.
Well, they are like 400 and some watts.
Yeah. No, it's wild. If you don't have a special power supply, you have to use this adapter. And if you use the adapter, apparently it's like even straight from NVIDIA are the ones that are being tested, and they are like really shoddy in some way.
Yeah.
And
it's true. So the thing is, what's happening is now they're including these 4 pins that also go into the power connector. And what that does is it tells the power supply how much power to give it, like how much, what kind of a load it needs. And if you don't have those pins, it just gives the full power and it doesn't really have a regulation. Yeah. And there was another concern of like those pins getting bent and stuff, because they're kind of like these 4 pins that kind of sit at the bottom for no reason.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. We mentioned in the last episode, we talked about this. It was before the reported cases of it actually like melting wires and stuff. And luckily, I feel like I think it's the case where the power supply is smart enough to realize that there was some kind of fault, and it will actually shut it off.
Right. Yeah.
I hope
Yep.
that's the case. Nobody buy
No,
one believing that that's
yeah.
the case unless you're sure, okay? But I believe that is the case. But even
No, they definitely have fail safes inside the power
yeah,
supplies for that kind of a situation.
you wouldn't want to test it. It's like those
No.
table saws, those table saws that will supposedly not cut skin. It's like
Yeah, like it stops immediately. It's like, I don't know if I want to try that. Let me get a hot dog first.
But we were talking about even last episode that like even at just an inconvenience level, like it's like now not only do you have to buy a $1,500 graphics card, but you have to either get like some crazy like knockoff adapter that might burn your house down, or you got to go get a new power supply. You know, so it's like
it's just crazy.
It's a total mess, man. It is. I mean, madness.
It is madness. I mean, the thing is, I feel like they don't give a crap right now because they want to get rid of these 30 series cards because they have such a stock of them right now.
Oh,
that they're just kind of like saying whatever. I don't care at this point. You guys can do what you want. If you want to buy them, fine. But otherwise, please buy the 30 series.
That's such a good point. You know, I bet that there was like a business decision that like, okay, we got to get the 4 series out fast enough.
Right.
So that we can get rid of all these 3 series cards. Because what did I just say during the last story? I said I always buy the previous model. That is exactly it. They're rushing the 4 to market so that they can get rid of the 3s.
Yep. Good luck burning your houses down.
My Radeon card is gonna light my house on fire as soon as it comes in.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So not only NVIDIA, but we also have the Intel, the Arc A770 is the one that I've been looking at.
Now, are you looking at the A770 or the A770 Limited?
Oh goodness, I don't know the difference between the two.
So the limited has 16 gigs of RAM. The regular has 8.
I can't pull this article up because I have ad blocker on.
I hate that. Oh, don't even get me started on that. But anyway,
kidding me. But yeah, it's comparable to the RTX 3060.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't pull the specs up, but and
even the 770 Limited is even more comparable to the 3060. It like excuse me, gets even closer.
Yeah, and the biggest. So I'm a little. I wanted to buy one of these for the show, specifically for the show, because they're relatively cheap. I mean, they're not cheap; they're like $400. But
right.
For a graphics card,
speaking.
yeah, that's crazy cheap for a graphics card. I mean, that's like 2010 pricing, you know, or hell, that's 2015 pricing. It went wild. People forget it went wild just in the last like 5 or 6 years.
Right. Yeah.
But like I feel like it's a really good card for that price. I mean, I think it's 16 gigs memory on the card, which right now my card has 6 or 8 gigs. I think it's 6 gigs. And so I mean it would be huge.
4, so.
Yeah, it would be a huge upgrade for most people. For like the majority of people, that would be a huge upgrade for like $400.
Yeah.
But the problem is there's a whole lot of legitimate concern and there's a whole lot of FUD surrounding it, and it's hard to know what is what. The main thing that I've heard about the card is that the graphics drivers have very poor support for obvious reasons. Nobody has these cards. They have a very small pool of test cases to base their drivers off of. But it also is like built for like modern games and like modern graphics like architectures. And so what I've read is that it actually performs way better if you're playing a brand new game. Versus if you're playing like an older game that you feel like a card like this should run easily. The software side of it, you have the hardware to do it, but the software side of it will struggle in some of those cases, and you actually get worse performance than you may have in your original card. Now, I think that there's definitely a level of truth to that concern, but I also think that a lot of like, especially like YouTube reviewers, I think that like one person came out with that opinion, and then now it's just like everyone has that opinion that like Intel is struggling with their graphics drivers. And I as a consumer, not a podcaster, but as a consumer, I'm wondering like how much of that is FUD and how much of it is really true.
Yep.
I am nervous to buy one of these things because I'm afraid I'll get it and then I'll just struggle with it constantly. And I'm already gaming on Linux, so like I'm already like, you know,
You're already struggling now.
yeah, yeah. Like what am I doing to myself?
Is this really a gaming on Linux podcast? Wait.
Yeah, stepping up from gaming on Linux to using an Intel Arc card is like going from being a vegetarian to a vegan. It's like it's like I'm already in the struggle. Why make this even harder? So like in a way I'm rooting for these cards and I almost want to buy one because I want it to do well. But at the same time I'm nervous about being part of the guinea pig audience, you know? I don't know that I want to be the beta tester.
I know. It's you got that aspect of it, the being the beta tester, but I don't know. Well, the thing is I don't think they have support until kernel 6.0. Well, I mean, Fedora's on that and Arch and stuff, but I mean, other than that, who else has 6.0 yet, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, if you don't have a newer distro,
so
I mean, you might not even be able to use it.
So what you're saying is, be a Linux gamer on Arch, on the Arc drivers. Oh my gosh. You are the elites of the elites.
Hey, just run an RC kernel. I mean, it'll be fine.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I think Radeon's a big enough change for me. It'll probably be a way better experience. Although, it'll be more than double the price, and it's not really going to produce much show content because every week it'll just be like, oh, yeah,
well,
it works.
Yeah, and also got another comment here about with Windows. As far as I'm concerned, the Windows driver is just as bad a shape as the Linux driver at this point for Intel. I mean, I haven't really done a lot of research on that, but I've heard from other YouTubers about that situation.
They are in the same boat from what I know.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I would have thought they would have been a little more mature at this point just because they've had integrated graphics for so long, so they do kind of know what they're doing with this. But I guess it must be different in some major way.
That's why I hesitate to believe everything I hear about it. Like, I think that it can't really be as bad as they say, but do I want to shell out $400 to find out? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess this is garbage. Throw it right out.
It's the return policy on these things. Oh, and they're beautiful cards too, by the way. I love the way they look.
They look so sleek, right?
Yeah, because graphics cards just got like larger and larger and more and more ridiculous, and as many fans and fins and everything they could put on there. You know,
I mean, look at this Radeon. Look at this Radeon card they have on your on the post the link. Yeah, but it's like got like 3 fans. It's got like honking like heat sinks on it, and then it's barely getting cool anyway.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, warm the upstairs of my house with this thing.
Basically.
So what are these? This Nuevo. I never know how to say that. Nuevo.
I think. Novu, something like that. I don't know. But anyway, it is the open source Linux driver re-implementation of the NVIDIA driver in like an open source version of it. And supposedly, according to Phoronix, they are going to have a huge update in the 6.2 kernel, which is, going to be coming down the pipeline relatively soon, not like crazy soon, next year sometime in the beginning.
I believe it.
Yeah. And hopefully they're going to have at least the first iteration of the NVIDIA open source driver included in that. So that'll be nice to test.
Yeah.
So NVIDIA already does have I don't know if it's NVIDIA or if it's somebody rebuilding their open source version, but they do have an open driver for the card, and I don't know what it means exactly, but it does not work nearly as good as the proprietary one. So whoever is building that driver I don't know if it's them or if it's NVIDIA just I don't know what the disconnect is, but if it says like NVIDIA open driver right now, don't maybe just test it, but don't bother putting it on your main system, because I've tried both of them, the 515 and the 520 open driver, and neither of them worked. They both had major breaking issues.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. I haven't tried that, but I'm guessing that is the new NVIDIA, the non-Nuevo, but using maybe NVIDIA's open.
Because they've dumped their code onto GitHub, so I think somebody took that and compiled it into an open driver.
Yeah,
I don't know how open exactly it is, but whatever. That I would avoid that for now.
And so the reason I said I can believe that the next iteration of Nuevo, is they're probably using what they've learned now from NVIDIA open sourcing that to improve this graphics driver. So like if you install like Ubuntu or Fedora or even Mint, although Mint may have a checkbox, I don't know. They're and you have an NVIDIA card, like this is the default graphics that will install. And if you're a gamer, typically you destroy that and install the non-free stuff because you are a freedom-hating Linux gamer.
Well, so let me just explain why that is, and that's the fact that NVIDIA does not allow, since the 700 series or the 900 series NVIDIA cards, they have not allowed the open driver to scale up the clock speed. So it's always been at the default clock speed, like 200 or whatever megahertz or whatever it is. They can't ramp up. So that's been the problem. That's why it can't really get the performance of the proprietary driver.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know the specifics of that.
Yeah, that was what I've always been told. I mean, I'm sure that's true because I've heard it so many times, but definitely would be a problem.
So now that we've talked about all the graphics cards and all the graphics card driver news, what are you looking for anything on Black Friday? What is your Black Friday plans? Sleeping in?
Yeah, probably looking at all the cool stuff I can't afford. No.
Yeah.
But nah, dude, like, oh man, I would so the problem is the Radeon cards are not coming in on time here. And like maybe you'd be able to get a 6000 series for a decent price then, but like are you going to be able to get it for the same price after the 7000 series come out and after you can see the performance difference,
Yeah, I don't think anybody should be any mad rush to try to get a graphics card for Black Friday. For exactly the reason you just said. If I were, so I will check, but it would have to be like such an amazing deal that it would make it worth it. Right, yeah. Because they're gonna like you just said, they're gonna drop. They probably already have dropped with the announcement of the next series, and they're gonna drop even more once the 7 series comes out. But if on Black Friday I saw one like really cheap, or hell, maybe if I saw one of these A770s, are those?
I was just about to say,
yeah.
If that dropped below 300, I mean, come on,
then it would be worth
280?
doing. That would be
280.
That would basically be worth doing. And if it didn't work out, I could find a place to put that. I'll build my younger sister a computer or something.
I have so many servers. I can just throw it in one of them.
We'll sell it. We'll sell it on the show. We'll auction it off.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I will check that. I will check that to see if something amazing happens there. But I've been talking about upgrading my CPU for a while, and
right.
But my problem is that any CPU that I could upgrade to on my current motherboard is not really worth it. Like I almost have to also do the motherboard.
So do you have an AMD or an Intel?
I have AMD. I have a Ryzen. I'd have to pull up my CPU Z to see what it is, but it's a Ryzen. It's like a 1700X, I think. So it's a pretty old Ryzen.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you went with the motherboard that came with that one, you probably could only get up to the 3000 series, if that.
Yeah, I think I have the way they're numbered. I think mine's the 3 something.
Yeah, so you can't get up to the, definitely not up to the newest one. Maybe 3000 series you could get up to.
Right.
Which I don't know if that would be even worth it.
The pricing on it is similar. Like last time I looked, I haven't looked in a while, and maybe it'll be different on Black Friday, but like the pricing of older CPUs is sometimes high because they know that someone is trying to just buy this. They're trying to get out of having to buy a motherboard, so they'll pay a little more. So yeah, I don't know. I'm probably better off just getting a new motherboard
Especially since
and
they've
CPU.
they revamped the whole thing. Like, did you see those new AMD CPUs? They look so freaking cool.
I'm gonna pull them up right now.
I don't know why, but they just look amazing.
So I'm probably gonna be watching for CPU deals.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, why don't we go ahead and get the gang together now? I'll get this episode posted as soon as possible. That way, in the Mintcast Discord, if you guys
Yeah.
see any good deals on Ryzen CPUs,
Yeah.
and hell, there might be some CPU motherboard combos out there.
They do have a lot of that,
Yeah,
especially on
I bet Black Friday
Yeah.
would be a day to look into that. So yeah,
Yep.
post those links in the. Actually,
Help a bow out. Come on.
is this
Uh-oh.
I just found and it's an MSI Tomahawk. So that's a
He's like, I
direct.
might just buy it now.
Yeah, it's a direct upgrade. I might need to check this one out on Black Friday to see. But yeah, there's a combo here for less than $500 for
Oh, that's not bad.
a 5800X
That's what I have.
and a
dude.
MSI Tomahawk motherboard.
So if you can get the 5800X 3D versus the 5800X, do that because it actually is significantly better.
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, because even against mine, the 5800X, it is significantly better in games. I don't know what they did exactly. I forget what the technology is, but they changed it in a way that, man, it really does give you a little bit of a boost. Especially for Linux, the Linux side of things, it would definitely help with all the translation it's got to do.
Well, see, so this is the full transition for me. I always bought Intel until I bought this Ryzen chip year before last, and now I'm good with Ryzen. They're significantly cheaper than Intel in most cases. They fluctuate, but they tend to be significantly cheaper. And then Radeon, likewise, dude. I'm just switching AMD Radeon from Intel NVIDIA all the way. Yeah, so I that's what I'll be looking for on Black Friday. So if anybody has anything, post it in the comments of this video, or but you probably can't post links. I think YouTube frowns on that.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Try to post it in the comments.
Post the link text.
Yeah, write out dot space com.
Yeah. Don't post the actual link.
It'll probably just show up. It'll probably just submit to me for review, and I could just approve it. I don't know how that works.
True.
But post it in the Discord.
Just
if
leave
not.
the HTTP part out, and maybe it'll work.
No, I think it's smarter than that.
Stupid YouTube.
Or in the comments, just let me know what you're looking forward to on Black Friday.
Yeah, definitely.
So, did you want to talk about Firefox being hot garbage?
Yeah. I'll make it. I'll just make it brief because this is my hot take with Firefox. And,
okay.
Oh man, I've really tried to use it. I've given it a go on Windows. I've given it a go on Linux now, and man, 106 is just horrible. I mean, it's been crashing. It's been actually just before the show. I didn't realize it was Firefox, but when I open it up, it actually makes my screen green with a textured like green lines across it. I don't even know how to describe it. It's the weirdest thing. And if I close Firefox, fine, no problems.
You're on Fedora?
Yeah.
I also had that problem on Fedora. I didn't
found out it was Firefox.
Huh.
I had no idea it had anything to do with Firefox. I actually thought it was a Mint thing because I had it on Mint too. But it did it on there.
I bet that is I forget what it's called, but there's a setting in your browser where you can say whether you want it to use your graphics card or your CPU for some sort of something. I wonder if it's that setting. I bet whatever it's set to, I wonder if you just need to set it to the opposite. But I had the same problem on things like Git. I remember like on Git, it would be like on Git.
Yeah, like lines, like little tiny lines that are like kind of greenish. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's exactly what's going on. And I mean, like I said, it's been crashing. They added this stupid little thing up in the top left-hand corner that's worthless to me that I don't ever use, and I'm just like, why are you taking more of my screen real estate up?
Yeah, I don't like that.
I'm already on GNOME, so I'm losing a little bit at the very top.
I want to say Leo likes that little thing up there. I don't know. I want to say someone
if
told
you
me
like
they
it,
like it. Yeah.
If you like it, great. That's wonderful, but I hate it.
Call in and explain to us why you like it so much.
Yeah, seriously, like make a point to vouch for it, because I'm like I don't get it.
I don't dislike the new. I had to just look to see if I was on 106. I don't dislike it. I just don't pay attention to it. But I don't have an option
Right.
at work. At work, we're forced to use Firefox on our like corporate laptop, and so I don't. I if I choose a browser, lately I've been choosing Brave, but I'm not even really sold on Brave. I just use whatever's there, and I don't really
Yeah.
have much of a preference these days. I used to like Die Hard. I'd go back and forth between Chrome and Firefox. But you mentioned Vivaldi, and
Yeah, that's what I'm using. That's what I was using it for a while. Then I went back to Firefox. Then I went back to Vivaldi. Now I'm back on Firefox for a little bit, and now I just turned back to Vivaldi when this 106 thing happened, because
like
I'm just like I can't take it.
you have to be a hacker to use Vivaldi. I don't understand it. I can't. I gotta take a Udemy class to understand how to use Vivaldi.
I mean, the thing is, you can have it as simple or as complex as you want, because when
Yeah.
you first start it up and first install it, they give you 3 choices between like simple, like whatever, like a little bit confusing, and then really confusing.
I was probably it's like whenever you pick easy, hard, or like extreme on a video game. I probably
exactly.
had too much pride to pick easy, and so I picked the middle one or the last one just out of if there was someone else standing in the room, that's definitely what I did. Yeah.
It's like the KDE plasma of browsers. Like, that's the only way I can describe it. There's so many settings.
It's the Arch Linux of browsers. Come on, who are you kidding?
And Fedora. Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, not Fedora. Firefox is like the GNOME of browsers.
Yeah.
You get what you get, and that's it.
we make the choices for you. Yeah, I don't know. So
but yeah, that was my hot take on that.
Maybe
I got
I'll
that out of my system now.
Maybe I'll install Vivaldi and do a Vivaldi week challenge or something
Do
between
it.
now and the next episode. I'll pick easy mode though. I'll give myself a fighting
Start
chance.
with easy mode, because you can build it up. You don't have to stay on easy mode.
You can level up.
You can level it up. You can.
All right, so I think we need to talk about the retro gaming thing.
Yeah.
Make good on that promise. You and I both have been doing a little bit of retro gaming, although I would say definitionally, I don't know that my retro gaming fits whatever. What do you consider retro?
So my coworker and I had this conversation today, and we were like, "Is Skyrim retro?" I mean, it's 11 years old now. I mean,
yeah, I don't know if
and, like,
Skyrim classifies as retro.
But this is what I said. I said, if you can reminisce about your childhood, about a game, that I believe that could be considered retro.
Yeah, so for me, all right, there's no winners in this, all right? So like that is a very your
This
definition.
is opinion. This is
your definition
totally
is completely valid, right? But let me tell you why it's wrong. I think I think that something has to be unavailable. Like to me, retro gaming is I'm playing games that are no longer available in the format
for their system that they were
right.
Yeah.
Whereas Skyrim, there's like a new version of Skyrim every 2 years. Somehow they keep doing
refrigerator.
it. Yeah. Somehow they keep like there's new versions of that game. Yeah. So like I like PlayStation 2, even like Dreamcast. Like I've been like trying to play. I've been playing a lot of PlayStation 2 games on PCSX 2. I think is what it's called.
Yep. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
And just it reminds me. Here's the funny thing. It reminds me of like when we first started doing this podcast, and Linux gaming was like more difficult than it is now. People look, and we only have 30 episodes. We've been doing this podcast for a little while. We just we still do a lot. We haven't done a lot of. But like when we first started, not every game would play through Proton, and you would have to like
Proton just came out not too long before we started.
It was like around the same time, yeah. And like you used to have to like work to get a game to work on Linux. Now I feel like this podcast is a little redundant because like everything works through Proton. There's like nothing to discuss anymore. And trying to get these PS2 games to work through an emulator and then like look good on my
Yep.
on my giant screen. Whenever I was a kid, I played it on a CRT. Like
Yeah.
that to me is as fun as hacking games to work on Linux used to be.
Yep.
Like I would have to
I totally agree with you.
tweak some settings and run the game. Oh, that didn't work, and then start over and tweak some settings. Then that didn't work, and then like go back
To a
and forth.
point. To a point, because sometimes I just want to play the game.
Yeah.
And sometimes it does get frustrating, but like if you're in the mood to like tinker, it is super fun to just be able to like tweak things the way you want.
Mike says that he is playing Skyrim on his toaster right now. So what games have you been playing though?
So I started off with my go-to, which is GameCube games. I love the GameCube. It's one of my favorite consoles, and I've been playing like Luigi's Mansion. I got that pretty much beat all the way through right now, except for the final boss there. Wind Waker I've been playing. Let's see here. Sonic Adventure 2. That one was also for the Dreamcast, but the GameCube one works better. It's easier to get it running.
Now, what emulator do you use for GameCube to get these working?
So I use Dolphin emulator. That's what the Dolphin Core, that's what they call it on Laka, which is the OS I'm using. Laka is really amazing. I can't say enough good things about it.
How do you spell Laka? I'm looking it up now.
It's Lakka, I think.
Okay.
It looks kind of like a PS2, 3 or PS3, 4 like interface kind of.
Yeah, that's it. Lakka.tv is their
right
URL.
is their thing. Yeah, no, that was the only one I could actually get working. Like the other ones like Batistera, you mentioned that to me earlier.
Yeah,
I couldn't get that one to play my games. It was just so choppy, even at default resolution. Like Laka, I can play at 720p for my GameCube games, which is perfect for my screen. It looks beautiful. And I can play it at full resolution or full speed, no problem. Couple of audio glitches. That seems to be the main problem with the retro gaming, is a lot of the audio kind of has issues. But for me, so far, it's been 99% good. Just a couple of things like in cutscenes.
So I took note of that Laka because I haven't tried like an OS yet. I just installed DuckStation on. So I've tried on Windows and on Pop OS, and honest to God, like they run, they made these things to run on Linux. Like it runs so well on Linux versus on Windows.
Most retro emulators have been made on Linux, far as I'm.
Yeah, because they want you to use it on like one of these OSs on a Raspberry Pi, so they tailor it for that. And DuckStation worked really well with very minor tweaks. I mean, I looked up the games that I was trying to emulate, which I did Metal Gear Solid, and I did there's a old horror game that I never knew about. It came out around the same time as Resident Evil 4, and so I didn't play it. Haunting Ground, and so I got Haunting Ground and Metal Gear Solid both to work on DuckStation. Oh no, I'm sorry. Haunting Ground is a PlayStation 2 game, so I played it on PCSX 2. But in both cases, I was able to upscale everything to a higher resolution with better graphics, with anti-aliasing, so you don't have the pixelation. I mean, like you can really modernize, especially the PlayStation 2 era. You can really modernize those games to look really good. I found that even with upscaling the resolution on the Metal Gear game, on PlayStation, I didn't really notice it when I was a kid, but it's very apparent whenever you're watching it on like high resolution monitor. But like the backgrounds like have like this shake to it. You know what I mean?
Really? I haven't played a game like that yet.
And I can't tell if it's just my emulation setup or if that's just really the way they were, and I just didn't notice when I was a kid. I don't know. Or if it's just more noticeable, because that's one thing about emulation is like people look at an emulated PlayStation 1 game and they say, "Oh God, I don't remember it looking this bad." but it didn't. You didn't watch it on
No,
a
right.
19, like you didn't watch it on a 1080p monitor. You watched it on like a 470p, TV.
Not even P, probably interlaced.
Yeah, you watched it on and like those pixels look good on that. You know what I mean? Like that's the
Right.
way it was supposed to look. So watching it on like modern equipment is not giving you a fair shake at what the game
You
really looked
almost
like.
have to give it like a pass in some points because of the way LCD screens are nowadays versus CRTs back in the day.
We should check out Portable Retro Emulator. Emulators. This is Mike. Yeah, I've thought about that. I haven't tried any emulation yet on my Steam Deck, but that would probably be way easier because it's got a 720 screen. So
Yeah,
it
that'd
would
probably
be way
pretty
easier,
nice.
and it's a 720 screen shrunk down, so it would look way better.
Yeah.
I bet like if I use the same settings I have now for Haunting Ground, but I put it on my handheld, it would look amazing. Like it would look like a brand new.
I'm sure it would.
Yeah.
It would. I bet you. Not only that, but like even if you did upscale it just once to like 720p, I mean, then you're matching the resolution of your screen. Therefore, it should be much better than like 720p on a 1080p screen and a 4K screen. I mean, when you get up to 4K, it depends on your upscaler and your TV at that point because it needs to upscale it from whatever you can. Because you can't just go to 4K unless you have like a beefy system. Unless I mean, if you're playing like a PS2 or a GameCube game like that, you just can't go to 4K unless you got like a
so
modern AMD.
So I was thinking about I wanted to set up a system for my living room. If I did the upgrade that I was talking about if I can find a good Black Friday sale, then my leftover PC I could build maybe an emulation station out of, and I might try this Laka.
No, that's cool. No, so what I'm using right now is I got a used piece of equipment from work that they're decommissioning, and it basically just has an Intel integrated graphics, but that's why it works so well because it's got the free open source drivers, and I can emulate pretty much anything I want at full speed at 720p at least, which is really nice. Like I can't tell you how nice it is to be able to have like a quote unquote GameCube underneath my TV now. Like I can just turn it on and there it is. It's like I feel like I'm a kid again. It's not even funny. It's like crazy.
I never like I have friends that are into the like retro gaming scene. Like they buy old game cartridges and they have like the consoles and stuff. I never understood the appeal of that until recently. Whenever I started developing a game and I wanted to play games that were like the one that I was developing, I realized that I can't go back and play those games from whenever I was a kid because like it's literally impossible to get those anymore. Like if you don't have a PlayStation, like you can't play a PlayStation 1 game in your PS5. You can't download like Dino Crisis is not on the PlayStation Network. Like you can't download that game. You have to either buy a PlayStation and buy Dino Crisis. You will never. You and I always go back to Dino Crisis, by the way. That's like a meme of the show now.
It might as well be. Yeah.
I do love that game, though. It's like the best game.
It is a good game. I will agree with you there.
You know what's funny?
That's another one I got to get.
And this goes. I can send it to you. This goes back to the. This goes back to this conversation. I installed it and I emulated it, and boy, I did not remember how cheesy it is. That is the corniest game.
It is. It really is. Oh man, that first one is just rough.
That is the corniest game, but it's still great though. It's still great.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It is great, but you can't upscale it out of the corniness.
Did you see the video?
No upscale.
Did you see the video I sent you on Discord? I
recently or before?
It was before, but
I don't think I did.
So I sent you a
maybe
video.
I did.
I sent you a video whenever I did. It's been a while. I sent you a video whenever I upscaled on I forget the name of the program, but it was a PlayStation emulator. Well, I did it again after that on DuckStation, and DuckStation did a way better job. And
Oh, okay.
and DuckStation on Linux versus the first video I sent you was some other emulator on Windows.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun doing that and trying to improve the
Yeah.
graphics of these old games. But yeah, so I don't know. It's funny that you and I both kind of got into this at the same time, but yeah, I've also been in a retro gaming or a game emulation kind of phase right now.
Yeah. And Mike also wanted us to mention there's two gaming systems, or is this the Miu Mini, I think, is one of them.
I think it's a
that he said.
handheld emulation
Yeah,
device.
it's a handheld. Yeah. And then
looking it up now.
Burnick, I think he said, makes awesome devices as well.
Oh, it's a really cool. So I just pulled it up. It's like a really cool Game Boy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He actually showed me this the other day. Actually, he sent me a video about it. It's actually really cool looking.
Yeah, it is cool. It looks like it has like a little bit of a wider aspect ratio than the original Game Boy, but but it's a Game Boy like device. That's really cool.
That's the other thing I've been emulating too, is like Game Boy games. Even on the TV, I don't care, because you know what? It reminds me of the GameCube yet again, because I used to have a thing you stuck to the bottom of the GameCube, and you could put your Game Boy Advance games into it and play them on the TV.
Oh, wow.
And it looks just like that. So I'm like in GameCube heaven right now.
Holy cow. That's funny. So let's see. We talked about Black Friday, dove into some retro gaming. We could make that like a segment too if you want to start. We could talk about, probably should be specific, like a particular game, like maybe we worked on or something. But that could be fun to work into. Because I'm thinking about
We'll just transition into a retro gaming channel.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
Well, Steam games work, so I guess we got to figure out how to work with retro.
I'm scared to stream it because, okay, oh my gosh, I don't know if I should talk about this or not. I didn't when I streamed Silent Hill.
Yeah.
So I played that game whenever I was a kid, and I had no idea the context of that game when I was younger. Replaying it as an adult, that is a very adult material game. And I kind of realized it live on stream, but had to be cool. I was like, there's some really adult stuff that happens in that game. I didn't realize whenever I was younger. I just thought it was spooky. But Haunting Ground, I kind of want to stream Haunting Ground, but at the same time I'm scared to, because it is like one of those games where like you can't actually kill the enemy. There's like a pursuer that you have to like run and hide from.
Right.
I am so terrible at those games, and they freak me out. I don't know if it would be good for me to play on stream. I would be embarrassed.
No, you'd be good.
By my reactions. So yeah, maybe
do it.
We could do more. We could do more of that. So yeah, we talked about Black Friday. So I could give a quick update on my game that I'm developing, and then if you want to talk about.
Oh yeah, I got something about that too.
Okay, yeah. What do you got? What do you got first?
Have you ever heard of Godot?
I have. I didn't hear about Godot until after I started this journey.
Same here. Like last week, I heard about it on a podcast, and I did hear about it way before, like when it first started, but I didn't remember it until this podcast I was listening to, and I'm like, dude, that looks so freaking cool.
There's another one too called Open 3D. That's an open source game engine. Likewise, I didn't know anything about it. And I'm so far down the Unity road now that I don't feel like I know enough to just divert to another application.
Now I got to start on Godot.
But yeah, I did. I kind of wish that I had tried Godot. I also realized that RPG Maker is still a thing. Whenever I was a kid, I wasted so much time making stupid little games on RPG Maker.
not wasted, invested.
Right, exactly. No, it's true. I feel like I got into IT because of RPG Maker. Like
exactly. See, you invested in yourself right
I
there.
spent so much time doing that as a kid, and I just recently realized like they're still putting out editions of that. It's still
That's amazing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm down the Unity road, and I've made a lot of progress. I feel like I've made a lot of progress pretty fast, but I still have so much to learn. I keep thinking that like, oh, this is the hard part, and then I and then I move on to the next thing, and I'm like, oh no, this is way harder. This is actually the hard part. Right now, I'm trying to do level design. I'm trying to design my my environment. I don't want to reveal everything yet about the game, although I will reveal something this time. But I'm trying to build the environment, and it's got multiple floors, and I'm trying to make like a Resident Evil style game where you have to like find different keys and puzzle pieces and things.
Like a puzzle solver.
And it's on a technical level. I have realized how hard it is to build something from scratch. It's like a blank canvas syndrome. Like I look at this big empty infinite space, and I'm like, okay, what do I put where? And am I doing it right?
It's like when you start distro hopping, you just look at distro watch and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, so I have built like a sort of a basement area of the environment that I'm working on, and I kind of have an idea of where I want the first couple of clues and keys to be. But I'm not at a point yet where there's no furniture. This is all gray boxes, and it is starting to hit me now how hard this is actually going to be, but I'm determined not to just go buy a asset from the asset store that is the thing I'm trying to make. I'm trying really hard not to reveal what it is, but like let's say it was a bowling alley. I'm trying to make a bowling alley as opposed to just going on the Unity asset store and buying a bowling alley. Because you can easily just do that.
Yep.
But I feel like if I do that, I don't think there's anything wrong with anybody that does that. But I don't want to come off as this is just an asset flip. I'm just trying to make a game and release it.
Asset flip.
Right. And for one thing, I'm not trying to make any money off this. I doubt that I will actually charge for this when I release it. I do want people to play it though, and I'm hoping that it's good enough to be taken seriously. So like I am trying hard to not give in to the temptation to just buy the bowling alley, but instead build the bowling alley. Don't
just buy the bowling alley. Build the bowling alley.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But it's hard. It's hard. So what I've accomplished so far in my game development journey is building a character, which I did buy an asset for. But I have replaced the animations. I did purchase some animations, but I also mocked up my own. I changed some. So I needed the character to be carrying a flashlight. I will reveal in this episode what the character is. So my main character is going to be a penetration tester, and she is trying to perform a penetration test. But I don't want to reveal any of the details after that. But so I have her holding like a flashlight. This is also why I was talking to my brother-in-law about flashlights, because I want her to be holding a flashlight that a pen tester might actually carry. Because, there's a certain type of person that has that type of job, and they have, typically like a pocket size black, little flashlight with multiple, varying clicks that they can adjust the light. And so she's holding a flashlight, and then obviously her first weapon will be a crowbar. And so right now I've been working on how do I have a walking animation that is not holding her arm up when she's not equipped a flashlight. How do I have it where she's holding a flashlight up when she has the flashlight equipped? But what about when she has a flashlight and the crowbar equipped? And so I'm having to make animations for every scenario. And I figured out how to do all that, and I have an inventory system where she can switch betwine, crowbar and flashlight.
That's cool.
Right now, my inventory system is very finicky. If you do it wrong, it will break. So I got a lot of quality. I have a lot of quality assurance testing that I need to do. But yeah, I'm trying to make a Resident Evil style game, but from the perspective of a penetration tester that basically, things go awry as she's trying to perform her job and things go awry, and she gets caught in a situation where it's her get out of jail free card, as they call it, is not enough to get her out of this situation. But yeah, I'm learning a lot, and I'm enjoying it. And someone left a comment on one of our videos about Unity, and they sounded like they knew what they were doing. So I don't remember. I didn't write down your name. Comment on this video if you have any Unity advice. I'll start asking questions on the show, and then maybe I can get some advice from people. But
the show will just become an open forum for Unity.
Yeah, no, I'm having fun learning it, and it's made me enjoy. So the interesting thing about it is, like, I've been enjoying single player games because I'm making a single player game, and I can appreciate them more. Versus before,
that's so cool.
I always played multiplayer. I haven't played a single player game like since I was a teenager until recently. So it's been a lot of fun.
So what you're saying is I need to make an MMO so I can appreciate MMOs.
Right? Yeah, yeah. That was my first idea. Is I can make an MMO. And then that went down to I could make an RPG, and then I realized how hard that was, and that went down to
I could build a room.
I can make a single player game where you don't interact with any other players. All right.
Oh yeah.
So how's Fedora treating you? We got a few minutes.
Yeah. I'll just make it quick. Fedora's amazing. The end. No. No. Okay, so yeah, jokes aside, I've been hearing a lot of crap about Fedora 37.
Yeah?
I don't get it. I don't understand why people are making it seem like it's so bad. I've not had a problem with it. I've been running it on 3 computers now since the beta started without issue. NVIDIA and Intel. There's no problems. My NVIDIA driver is working. It's been working since the beta began, which is unheard of, actually. Usually it doesn't work when the beta first starts. Usually it takes a while before they actually get it up to speed. But, I mean, I don't know. I just, like, yeah. There's a certain other podcast, which I won't mention, that really, really, man, they really just tore Fedora apart. And, like, months ago, they were like, Fedora's the best thing ever. And now they're like, Fedora sucks. And I'm like, don't do this to me, man. I'm like, I just got into this. And I'm like, everyone's telling me, don't let them define, what you think of a distro. If you like it, keep it. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I gotta stick to it. But man, I'm just like, stop flip-flopping.
Everybody remember, we've been Fedora from day one. And we came from the Mintcast podcast, and we've been Fedora fanboys the whole time.
No, I love Mint too.
Yeah,
it's just I've grown past Mint.
I actually have more luck on Mint than Fedora, but I didn't like Fedora until we tested it for the show, and then I was like, this ain't that bad. Basically, from Fedora 36 on, I've liked
right.
Fedora.
I think since we tested it for the show, it's gotten significantly better, like from then till now. And like even 32 was where it started getting better, and from then till now it's just began to get better every time. And
maybe it was
just
34.
a quick other thing.
It was 34 that we did.
It might have been 34.
Might have been 34. Yeah.
But there's another quick thing, and I think this is one of the reasons why people have been going kind of nuts, is with AMD. If you're running AMD on Fedora, now you can't hardware decode certain video codecs because their lawyers at IBM decided, oh no, we can't do this, and they took them out of the Mesa driver, which is the AMD driver for their card. So, but they're putting it into RPM Fusion, which is their separate repo that you can just add back in. So I don't see the problem, though. I just don't see the problem if they're going to put it in a place where you can readily, just install it. I don't know. Whatever. That's another one of my hot takes.
I'll have to see it in action. But that sounds like it wouldn't just be a problem for Fedora, though. I mean, that sounds like that would be a problem for everybody, right?
I mean, so far the only two have done it are OpenSUSE and Fedora. They're the only two that have blocked it from
Ah,
being able to hardware decode. You can still decode on the CPU. That's fine. You can still watch your videos. It's just you're going to peg your CPU.
huh.
But yeah, so if you're on NVIDIA or Intel, you're fine. You're not affected by this at all. So that's fine. But yeah, just AMD users that use the Mesa drivers, unfortunately. But like I said, they do have a fix that you can install. Eventually, they will have that. They don't have it as of right now, but they're working on it.
Well, yeah, man, we should do a 37 review. We haven't done a Fedora review in a while.
Yeah, I
Um,
love it. It's amazing.
I'm looking for something different. I was doing the Nabara project,
Yeah,
and I ran into a problem, but it actually was not.
yeah,
It was not related to the
right.
Nabara project.
I
Um,
just don't know. I just couldn't get into that. I don't know what it
yeah, it's
was.
well, it does a lot, but it's real
It
specific.
does.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if that's your
Mhm.
specific setup, then like
Yep.
that's the way to go, baby. You know?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yep. I mean, GNOME 33, 43 is absolutely amazing. Like, it is the best GNOME that they've ever had, ever. At
Mm.
least on the 3 version, 3 dot whatever. But
All right,
yeah,
I might
so
install this week because I have Pop OS on
yeah, I
my
mean, at least check it out. I mean, see how
yeah.
Pipewire, because they updated all that stuff, and now they have Wire Plumber instead of whatever they were using. I forget what they were using before. But anyway, yeah. So they have a lot of different things going on. So maybe your stuff works now.
I doubt it. I doubt
One can hope.
it. All right. Well, thanks for watching. This was a really fun episode. Let's don't take so long next time. Let's get together next week.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I
Yeah.
I'm like about to be slow. So like the way my job works is like basically this is the last month. Like this month, everybody's madhouse trying to complete their projects before December, but then December hits and nobody's in the office. So I should have time. I should be good.
Sweet. Okay.
um,
Yeah.
all right. Well, thanks for listening. Please subscribe to the channel. We want to get
Yes,
to 200
please.
subs, and
Join us on Matrix.
join us on Matrix Discord, and we will see you next week. Peace.
See ya.
Your stream will stop immediately.
What was that?